Hello?
Good afternoon, John. It's Samir Chhabra from CBC Windsor.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm well, I'm well. How are you?
I'm very well.
Okay. So, I suppose the reason that I reached out to Monica in the first place is because she emailed us letting us know that not necessarily the interview we aired was wrong, but that the perspective that the farmer gave was maybe a little one-sided, and she recommended that you and I connect because I believe you were actually there at the open house.
I was, yes.
Okay. So, out of curiosity, are you the same person who posted the YouTube video showing the whole the event itself?
Yeah, the Vegan Visits Dairy Farm?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's me. So I go by like Vegan Mankind, but my name is Josh.
Okay. And actually, so before we get started, would it be all right to get your first and last name, as well as how you'd like to be identified?
Yeah, so my first name is Josh.
Perfect, thank you.
And you can refer to me as Josh or Vegan Mankind. Either one is fine. Josh, probably more for the conversation.
I should have been more clear. I meant, like, is there a title or a way that, presumably you don't want to be identified as vegan male.
No. You can just call me activist, animal rights activist.
All right, perfect. That works. So, Josh, walk me through, first of all, walk me through what happened during the open house. And also, what day was it? What date was it?
It was what day was it? It's a good question. I think it was the 10th. I think it was a Saturday. I'd have to check the video. But to talk you through it, we went there early in the morning when they first opened. We went in for the free public tour, so it was open to the public, open house. We decided to go around, see the animals, because I'd never really seen cows in person before. And then just had some questions with the farmers and whatnot. It was very civil. We were very kind inside the farm. We'd show no form of aggression or hatred to the farmers while we were on the farm. Then we left the farm on our own accord, and then we started protesting outside.
Okay. So what did you see when you went to this farm, this dairy farm?
It's such a sad place. You see these animals confined in these tight little areas, and they can move around, but then they tie them up tighter. You see like a bull with a giant piercing through his nose with a chain. You see baby calves and their mothers separated. You see these calves in a little crate. It's really sad, and it's just these animals should be with their mother, and we take them away so we can steal their milk.
Right. So what kind of conversation did you have with the farmers who were there?
So I was asking all kinds of stuff. I was asking how old were the calves, and they said they were about 2 weeks. Some of them, they were separated. I was asking, like, what do the different restraints do to hold these animals down? It's just a really sad place for animals.
Certainly. And how would you describe, I suppose, the tone or tenor of the conversation? Did it get heated? Earlier you said it was civil, but otherwise?
While we were on the farm, everything was very civil. The farmers were being nice to us, and we were being nice to them. We were on their property. We weren't trying to show them disrespect. When we did leave their property, we did have megaphones and whatnot because it is really disgusting in there, and we had to make that known. But while we were on the farm, everyone was civil. And then when we got outside the farm, farmers were insulting us. They called some of our people a meth head and just really rude stuff. I'm not going to get into all of it, but it's really rude stuff from the farmers. And I rebutted a little bit as well, but it's just the tone really changed once we were outside.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that the farmer that CBC Windsor spoke with said is that she feels a little threatened. She's a little concerned for the welfare of her family.
Yeah.
And I suppose, given the opportunity to respond to a statement like that, how would you respond?
Well, I'd first like to mention that pretty much all animal rights activists, we are a non-violent movement. We want no harm to farmers, no families, kids. We want zero harm to any of them. I want to make that very known. We are completely non-violent. So with them being threatened, I find that interesting because we aren't a threat. We just want to take pictures, document what's happening to the animals. And then a farmer actually went to one of our activists' house, a female, at night one day, just to kind of like stalk her and say, hey, I know where you live. So they went to her property and saying, oh, look, I know where you live. that's not cool. If you want to talk about threats, that's a threat.
Right. Interesting. So is that common? Do you often see that kind of? Let me phrase that. Do you often receive that kind of feedback from farmers? Do you often is that a common occurrence?
Going to someone's house is new to me. I'm sure it happens to other activists, but to me that was new. But farmers do get hostile with you many times, whether it's slaughterhouse drivers or whatnot. A lot of times they don't want you exposing or talking about their industry, so they aren't very nice. Slaughterhouse workers, this whole industry is based on like killing, right? Like slaughterhouses and whatnot. So this violence is engraved into them.
I mean, so you describe your movement as nonviolent. Are you affiliated with any one particular animal rights activist group, or do you work independently?
Both. So I am an independent activist. So when we were at the dairy farm, that was an independent event. There was no organization connected to that. Now, I do help volunteer with the Save movement, which we bear witness to animals outside slaughterhouses and slaughter trucks and whatnot. AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless, where we go to the streets and we show like slaughter footage and what happens in the industry and just have peaceful Socratic conversations with people on the streets. I also help volunteer with DXD, which they have a wide range of things they do, from disruptions and whatnot, to help animals, and they just help kind of educate the masses. Those are the main organizations What's that? What would you say? Can't hear you if you're talking. Call ended. Oh, here it goes. Oh, I think I lost you.
Yeah, no, you did. The last thing I heard you say was that you volunteer with a group that begins with a D.
The vegans are what?
So DXD?
DXD, yes. Direct Action Everywhere. So they do a bunch of different events, from different disruptions, protests, anything that will really help push the non-speciesist message.
Okay. And again, are all of these groups non-violent?
Absolutely. That is rule one in all these organizations. Another one, which was mentioned in that interview where they went to a pig farm, that's Meet the Victims, and that is completely non-violent as well. All of these are completely non-violent. We don't want to harm anyone. We're against violence, and that's why we want to end slaughterhouses and dairy, because they're just places of violence.
Okay. So walk me through some of your methods. What are the kinds of things that you and your fellow activists do in protest?
So there's a lot. So my mindset is, if there's an event helping animals, I'll help them out. I'll help PETA. I'll help whoever. If I think it's going to benefit the animals, I'll help. Some of my favorite forms of activism are Anonymous for the Voiceless, where we are in the streets showing the footage. It's very interesting because a lot of people haven't seen this footage before. They won't watch the footage unless you bring it to them. So that one's really cool for having conversations and helping people make the connection. The Save movement is very powerful. When you see these animals on their way to slaughter or to a auction house, it's just, you see the sadness, and it's one of the most effective forms of activism, I find, is bearing witness to these animals before they die and giving them a little bit of love and compassion in their last moments.
Okay, interesting. So, I mean, how do you feel knowing that some farmers have reached out to the province's Attorney General for help or support? What do you make of that?
I find that interesting, because a lot of times they say they're protecting their property and they're keeping their property safe, and we're stealing their property when an animal is saved. But you cannot own someone, right? So an animal is an individual. They're not like a table. They're not like an inanimate object. That's someone in there. So you can't own them. The same reason you can't own slaves, right? It's just immoral. So when they say, oh, we need help protecting our property, it's really skewed, because the animal is not property. We treat them like that, but they're individuals who should have rights to life and live just as we do. So it is scary as an activist, because you can get charged as eco-terrorism for literally just documenting what happens in a farm. You can get crazy charges just for being on a farm, taking a picture, or helping an animal. So it's really scary, and you gotta kind of follow the money on why are these politicians helping these big corporations so much.
And what have you found? Why do you find that these politicians are helping big corporations so much?
Well, the money talks, right? If you have enough money, which animal agriculture has plenty, they can kind of make the rules. They can kind of say, let's make activists go to jail. Let's make it really hard for them to expose what's happening in these farms. And it's really scary once you start to see the truth of what's happening.
Okay, fair enough. So, I mean, that's sort of it for my questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add about what took place at Jobin Farm? Anything that you'd like to mention that you think is important to mention?
Let's see. So they said things could get heated between us farmers. That's where we're nonviolent. In the interview, the one girl said she had blocks of hay blocking their property, which I find interesting. That why do you need to hide what's going on in these places, right? Why are slaughterhouses and farms usually in such secrecy, and you can't see what's going on? I'd also like to mention that the Canada Food Guide recently removed dairy and milk alternatives completely from our food guide, which means dairy is obsolete, right? You have to ask yourself, what is milk? Why does a cow produce milk? And that's for her baby. We're not baby cows. We're not baby goats. Why are we stealing the milk meant for one? It's just really doesn't make sense. And if people want more information on the truth, they can check out Dominion on YouTube. It's a very comprehensive video, go through each animal and how we use them, and it's pretty eye-opening.
All right, well, that's certainly, no pun intended, that's certainly food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time, Josh. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. And have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Bye.